Hello, this is Hailee Lauritzen, instructor with the Department of Social Work, and I'm going to do this video on how to do your junior year learning plan for field placement. So again, starting on our website and coming over to field education and then field education forms, you'll find all of the lists of the field education forms that you're going to need. And specifically for your junior year, you'll take Social Work 481. And so you need to find the document that says Appendix BSW 6, BSW Social Work 481, Student Learning Plan and Evaluation. So when you click on that, it will open up this document here, which is your learning plan. And the learning plan is your connection between what you learn in the classroom and the experiences that you have in field. So you'll start off on page 1 filling out just the basic information here, the name of the agency that you're located at, the name of your supervisor and your field instructor if they're two separate people, and you'll date it. Of course, your name and university number ID up here. And then your junior year 481, you'll just put a check mark right there on spring. And as you scroll down, you'll see the rating scale for your field instructors and task supervisors to do the grading. And so your course instructor will go over this a little bit more in the beginning of your field orientation, but your task supervisors and field instructors, when they're going through and grading, they're going to decide whether your performance either was exceptional, exceeds expectations, meets expectations, minimally meets expectations, or needs improvement, or if it was unsatisfactory. Depending on where you fall in there, they're going to pick. So let's say if you did great, you met expectations, they're going to give you a percentage anywhere from 73% to 82%. And they get to decide within that range how they feel that you did. They can also score you in decimal points as well. So if they think that you did an 80.5 or 80.7, that's fine. That is an open range and they can grade you however they feel is appropriate. So moving down into the beginning of the learning plan, we start with competency 1, which is to demonstrate professional and ethical behavior. And the core behavior is the list of objectives on how you are going to show your instructor that you have learned this competency. So for core behavior number 1, you need to make ethical decisions by applying the standards of the NASW Code of Ethics, relevant laws and regulations, models for ethical decision-making, ethical conduct of research, and additional codes of ethics as appropriate to the context. Now that's a mouthful, but basically you need to be able to demonstrate your knowledge of the Code of Ethics. And that's the core behavior that we want you to learn during your field internship. And so the assignment section over here is how you're going to demonstrate knowledge of that core behavior. So for your junior year, these two assignment sections are completed for you. So the first thing you will do is identify an ethical dilemma with a client, and you're going to discuss it with your field instructor. And you're going to discuss with your field instructor the aspects of ethical decision-making models as well as ethical issues faced in the agency. So once you've completed those two assignments and you've completed this section over here, which I'll show you in just a minute, once you've completed those two assignments and your field instructor or task supervisor has signed off on them, that shows us, the field director and your course instructor, that you have completed this core behavior number 1. So let's say you are at your agency and you identify what you think may be an ethical dilemma, and you sit down with your field instructor and you say, hey, I saw, I was working with a client and I saw this other case manager come in and they said this to the client that I really felt was inappropriate, and I want to get your take on it and see. And you have this conversation with your field instructor on whether that comment made by the case manager was ethical or not. And so at the end of the day, when you're in your supervision, you look at your learning plan and you say, you know what, us having that conversation on ethics really marked off this one assignment. So then you would come over and you say, okay, so today, which was May 28th of 2020, I completed this first assignment, and I completed it with my field instructor, and their initials are HL, which is my initials, Hailee Lauritzen, but we're just going to use those. So I completed it by my field instructor, and we discussed, oh goodness, I can spell it, discussed ethical comments made by other professionals, whatever it was, just a quick little snapshot of what it was to help you remember and to help your field instructor remember what it was that you did that marked this assignment off. So you may say that you discussed other disciplines and how they interact with clients, or you may want to say that you discussed the NASW Code of Ethics and how it applies to clients in your specific population. Whatever it was, just you need to identify exactly what you did. Now, the evidence of completion up here has these numbered. Number one, you need to discuss what you how you completed that assignment. Number two, verified by, which would be the initials. And number three, the date completed. You can use that format if you want, or like I said, as long as those three components are included in there, that's what we're looking for. You can leave it just like I've got it right now. You can choose to come back in and separate them with one and then the two and then the three if you choose to. So you have some flexibility here with how you get them done. Whoops. But as long as all three components are in there, that's what we're looking for. So the date that you completed the item, who verified that, whether it's your task supervisor or your field instructor, and just a quick identifier of what you did. The reason for that is because you are going to keep this, on your computer, you're going to keep a running document that is a completed, typed, neat, and clean copy document. You're going to keep that on your computer, and you're going to print off a handheld copy that you take with you back and forth to your agency. So this date, initial, and your quick description, you would hand write it at first. So the day that you did it, you would just hand write that in, and then you're going to take it back to your computer later on that evening. The next day, you're going to take it back to your computer, and you're going to type all of this information in, just as I did here. And then when it's time, you take it to your field instructor or your task supervisor, and they're going to sign off on it. And they don't sign off on them right as soon as you do them. So it's really important that you do have this descriptor here, because they need to be able to remember what you did to complete this assignment. And these are where they're going to give you their scores. So they'll score you for each assignment that or each core behavior that you've completed. So they're scoring you not on how you did the individual assignment, but how you demonstrated knowledge of this core behavior over here. So the same is true for number two. You'll read the second core behavior right here. The assignments that are identified to complete this core behavior, you will date, verified by, and the description of what you did to complete it. The comment box down here is for your task supervisor or your field instructor to write their comments. So this is not where you write those comments. You keep your description all in this evidence by completion box, okay? And the comments is for your task supervisor and your field instructor to write their comments. And then as we scroll down, you'll do the same thing for all of them. If there are any boxes that are not completed with two assignments, then you have the option to add an assignment in there. I don't believe well, this one right here. So on core behavior 18, it looks as though there's only one assignment listed here. So you have to pick another item to go into this section here. And to do that, you go back over to the website, to the field education forms, and you're going to pull up this document that says BSW 7 assignments for use in student learning plans. And when you pull that up, it is, let me click on that here. You're going to get this page right here that will give you a whole bunch of options. So you find the core behavior that you need to add, which in our case, it was core behavior 18, and scroll all the way down to 18. I'm still scrolling here. And here's a list. So you do have the one that's required that's already in there, but you've got all these other options that you can choose from. You can pick one that best fits your agency, and you're just going to copy and paste it right into this assignment box right here. You do the same evidence of completion box over here, and you move on. Now, if there is, let's say you have one where on this core behavior number 16, you've completed these 2 assignments here, but you've in addition done a third assignment that really demonstrates that you've mastered this core behavior. You can always have more than 2 assignments for each core behavior. So we start with 2 assignments for each core behavior, but if you and your task supervisor or your field instructor want to add a third, which just further demonstrates your knowledge of mastering this core behavior, you can do that. You can pick from either the list that we had over here, you can pick from this list, or you may choose to make one separate from your agency, something very specific and targeted to the agency that you're working in, and that would be fine as well. The last page down here is where we have the evaluation from the field instructors, the task supervisors, as well as the signature from you, the student. So you want to make sure when you're doing this that you have completed all of these check marks. So you want to check whether this is fall semester, spring semester. You want to check whether it is which one of these at the evaluation you agree to. So actually this one here is where they select, your field instructor or task supervisor select those. Yours are down here. I apologize for that confusion. Yours are down here. So after you've reviewed the evaluation, the student needs to check mark whether they agree with the evaluation or whether they don't agree with the evaluation. If the intern disagrees with the evaluation, they need to write a copy to both the agency supervisor and the field director, just explaining why they don't agree with the field evaluation that they received. They sign it, they date it, and then they submit it. So I hope that's helpful. And again, your field director or course instructor will have more specific instructions as the semester begins. Thank you.